What's up, guys? This is Coach Vassar with the OTF Audio Daily Beats. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to ramble a little bit about the workout. And as always, if you find value in them, information in the description on how to support me. Appreciate you for doing that. We're going to go over Wednesday, November 6th, which also repeats Friday, November 22nd. With the Wednesday workout, be mindful that this is the day before the 200-meter row benchmark. So if there are any members that you have the feelings that they might be trying to hit a PR on the 200, maybe have that conversation prior, because today we're going to see strength on the treads and then endurance on the row and endurance on the weight floor. So the legs could get a little tight leading into that Thursday workout. Gonna do an overview, do the treads, rower, weight floor, the 3G, and get you on out of here. Concepts today, we're going to see 3 tread blocks. Your goal is to hold your base as you climb inclines and flat road, so rolling hills up and down. For the rower, you're going to see multiple attempts of a 500-meter push row, and on the floor, we're going to see 2 blocks, build endurance through high reps. We're going to alternate between lower and upper body in block 1, and then in block 2, they're using mini bands. So for the setup, you do need benches, mini bands, and dumbbells, of course. So the treads, they're going to see 3 blocks following the same pattern. We're going to alternate between incline and flat road, all at base speed. The good news, every block, the inclines get lower. Your goal is to maintain your base speed you start the block with throughout all the inclines. So it's going to be 6 minutes and 45 seconds within the 3 blocks. Of course, there's a 90-second walk recovery, get back to base between each block. So when you look at the template, as mentioned, rolling hills. So with block 1, inclines will increase. They're going to start with a 5, and then 6 and 7. Of course, there is that flat road in between. Power walkers, they're going to start 7, and then 8 and 9% for their 3 hills. After 3 hills and 3 flat roads, they finish with a flat road 45-second all up. As they move into blocks 2 and 3, the pattern's exactly the same, but the hills will start 1% lower. So they're going to see 4, 5, and 6 in block 2, and then 3, 4, and 5 in block 3. Even though the inclines do get a little lower, you're going to notice cumulative fatigue, where because the incline and the work, maybe their heart rate does stay elevated even if the incline does drop. Now, for people who happen to have better conditioning, better endurance, if they notice in block 2, heart rate isn't coming up as much because of the incline, maybe they could try to increase their base speed to maintain throughout that block. They could also take a page out of the Power Walker book and maybe increase the incline recommendation. So Power Walkers 6% or greater, joggers and runners 4% or greater in like block 2 and whatnot. So a couple ways to kind of mix that up. As far as bikes and striders go, it's essentially alternating between like a push and base gear. You could have them trend upward like the treads do. So maybe they do like a 3, 4, 5 gear for each hill. And then of course hit 6 gears or more during their all out. Within the daily beat, essentially it's an opportunity to increase intensity. So push gear and then flat road. And then the blocks 2 and 3, the goal is to match your gears and efforts in each block. So if they did 3, 4, 5 in block 1, can they also do that in block 2 and block 3? Or if they just stick with the same push gear every time, maybe increase RPMs as another way to generate more wattage. As far as heart rate goes, obviously a little bit ups and downs, especially in that first block, since they are going to see higher incline. Take notice of how people kind of work through block 2. If their heart rate isn't spiking up as much, it's a great opportunity for them to increase their base speed or adjust it as needed. Now, when we look at the weight floor, there's going to be 2 blocks. Block 1 is the longer one. It's going to be 18 and a half minutes. We're going to see a total of 4 exercises with work and rest. So higher rep count, rest after each movement, and then they go into a 500-meter push row. And the goal here for the block is to actually maintain the intensity on the push row. So use that stored program, keep their average watts about the same, and also try to match their time, or at least stay within 2 seconds. We're going to see full alternating step ups. The step back low row makes a return. bridge with the shoulders on the bench, and then the reciprocated seated shoulder press. So a nice little mix up of, obviously lower body and upper body. And we're gonna see some work with unilateral stuff with like the step ups, and with the shoulder press work doing the reciprocation. For that step back low row, a little bit of coordination work. Obviously that is with 2 dumbbells, so they'll alternate which leg they step back with, and they hinge kind of into like that step back deadlift position and then hit that row. Nothing too crazy on that one, which is kind of nice. As far as like options, with the full step up, they could go body weight. For the step back low row, they could do regular strap low rows. For the bridge, they could do it with the, shoulders on the floor instead of shoulders on the bench, because that's going to increase range of motion. So if they're on the floor, it will reduce the range of motion. One thing I like to do to challenge people is, if they're going super heavy with that bench bridge, maybe they could try with their feet on top of the bench and then their shoulders on the floor, and that's another way to increase that range of motion. And then the reciprocate and shoulder press, if they're not able to go overhead, they could do like a single arm upright row, front raises, or even neutral grip position. When we look at block 2, this is gonna be timed up, and it's in a way where it's kind of similar to the tread time in, because the work and the rest combined is gonna be 1 minute. And it's just 2 different band movements. You're gonna see bands on the wrist, and you have the bear step for 45 seconds with a 15-second rest. And then they're gonna flip over onto their back, keep the arms locked out as a crunch up, and then they do the scissors for 45 seconds. And they're gonna alternate between those 2. So they will work during the first flat road base, the second flat road base in block 3. That's when they'll actually start. So right after that 4% base climb, 3, 2, 1, flat road base, weight floor, they go into their steps. They have 15-second recovery for after the 45 seconds work. When the treads go to their 5% hill climb, that's when they'll flip over and do the crunch hold. On the next flat road base, they're back to the bear step. And then when they go into the finisher for 45 seconds at the very end, low band crunch hold with scissors again. And that's it for the weight floor and treads in the 2G. Now, when we look at the 3G, we are going to drop one of the blocks from the treads. So they're going to have 2 blocks, exactly the same, with the exception of the all out being just 45. Instead of 45 seconds, it'll be 30 seconds. You're going to see blocks 1 and 2 from the 2G. So 5, 6, and 7% in block 1, and then 4, 5, and 6% in block 2. 6.5 minutes for each block, 90 seconds of recovery in between, and same goal as before, maintain their base speed as they go through the rolling hills. When we go to block number 2, we're going to see, row and block. This is going to be one long block for 14.5 minutes. We're going to see a 500-meter push row paired up with a med ball exercise, and then they'll just alternate between those 2 things. So 500-meter push row, and then the first round they're doing a single leg rainbow with the med ball. So they're on 1 foot, med ball starts at the shoulder, comes up, comes back. There's 8 reps, switch your legs, do another 8. Then they'll do a 500-meter push row. Then the next time they're gonna do, with the med ball, they're gonna balance on 1 leg and do a single leg low row with the bent leg. So they're balanced on 1 leg, the other leg is bent behind them, and then they're doing that row, both hands on med ball, driving the elbows back, med ball comes to your center of your chest. They'll do 8 with each leg. So they'll alternate between those 2 different med ball exercises every other row. And then on the weight floor, this is basically the first block of the 2G. So step ups, step back low row, bench bridge, and the shoulder press, work and rest, same idea, moderate weight, maybe even lightweight. They have that rep range 12 to 16 to kind of play around with to do what works well for them. And there you have it. Once again, if you're running this class on Wednesday, November 6th, this is the day before 200-meter row benchmark. So if there are any people in your class that you have the idea that they're probably going to try to PR on Thursday, maybe have them take it more of a green day today, a little bit less on that base speed, maybe not go as heavy on the weight floor, get a feel to kind of perfect their rowing technique with those 500-meter push rows. And if anything, that's going to give them like a opportunity to kind of perfect their form without having the stress of the benchmark. As always, any feedback, let me know. Thank you for tuning in, and coach it down.